right, welcome to MPH Specialties and another video. It's tumultuous times out there. I don't know if you can see all the leaves. We've had strong east winds, wildfires. The smoke has finally cleared. We got blue sky. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and we have protests and riots and who knows what else. Very tenacious election coming up. So I'm going to do something, film something today that is, I should dub our everyday series. This is our very common car, I guess. It's a E150 van. There's my puppy dog laying there. And what are we doing? We had a massive coolant leak with this E150 van and a 5.4 liter Triton Ford motor. We got the whole thing tore apart. The intake manifold's off. Terrible job. I do not recommend it. All the parts are spread throughout the van, and I have come to find the problem, which is actually good. There's a tube, transfer tube, that runs underneath the intake manifold, and it has sprung a leak. There's a hole in it right there. Let's pull that off and show you. See that hole? That's not supposed to be there. So this end of the tube takes water from the back of the water pump and it transfers it up to these coolant lines. But to get there, it's an all-day job to take the intake manifold off. It's huge. Let's show you what it looks like. There's the fuel rails back there and some throttle body and stuff. The intake manifold looks like this. This is the factory intake manifold that came off the van. It was full of mouse debris, peanuts, hazelnuts, all types of nuts from the Northwest. Have a little nut collection there. I had to suck them out so that they didn't go down into the fuel injector bosses and or the spark plug wells. It was a total mess. This is the old intake manifold, excuse me, and I thought that it had cracked on the bottom, but there's no way for coolant to crack. That tube was spraying up and it was dripping down. I could see that. This is the old intake manifold, as I've just said, and this is the new one that's going on, which I'm not impressed with at all. Yes, it's a direct replacement, but instead of having nice bosses for the spark plug coils, you have to use sheet metal screws for all the hardware. I do not like that at all. That is cheap, 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 cheap. And if you look at it side by side, the plenum is way different. This has got a really big plenum. This one's got a really narrow plenum, but it's supposed to work. It comes with all the gaskets. It's not super expensive, but it is a job to get to it. And then this is our new tube. Brand new tube that goes underneath the intake manifold, about like this. That's how it sits on the engine. So a hole had rusted through here and it was spurting coolant up at the bottom of the manifold, and the engine overheated, and hopefully it's not in bad shape. So now I got to put it back together. Lucky me. And it looks like there's a difference in this tube here as well. So I almost feel like putting the old one back on, but they tend to break and delaminate and chip off, I guess, in this area, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk it. So she's getting new spark plugs, new gaskets, as much as I can do, probably new injector O-rings, and I'll put this thing back together. So again, this is my everyday series. Let's take a look inside the engine compartment. You can see everything's got to come out either this way or through the doghouse. It's a major job. So stay safe out there. I feel sorry for my mom, who just had to evacuate or is on level 2 or 3 from wildfires. Luckily, we don't have any smoke here. Again, we've got clear blue skies, but most of Oregon is in a bad way. So thoughts and prayers. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Look forward to more of these blue skies.